8 command.
Good afternoon from the International Space Station Flight Control Room at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. I'm Sandra Jones. At this hour, 3 Russian cosmonauts are on their way to the International Space Station in the Soyuz MS-21 spacecraft for an arrival to the orbital outpost just 50 minutes from now.
Do you see the
Currently, Soyuz is now about 15 kilometers from the International Space Station.
yes, and the size is approximately 1/3 of a square, resembles a star.
Leading the team here in Mission Control Houston today for rendezvous and docking is NASA Flight Director Greg Whitney.
Waiting for you guys. Anton, hello to you.
Flight controllers here in Mission Control Houston are also working with their counterparts across the world in the Russian Mission Control Center in the town of Koryov on the outskirts of Moscow, as the Soyuz MS-21 carrying Oleg Artemyev, Denis Matveev, and Sergey Korsakov are nearing the end of a 2-orbit trip to the International Space Station. Docking is scheduled to the Prichal module on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the space station at 2:05 p.m. Central Time this afternoon, 3:05 Eastern Time. And this will be the very first docking to Prichal following its launch to space in November.
Yes. Confirm all. There will be a short test and roll maneuver at that point.
The crew's journey to the International Space Station began earlier this morning at 10:55 a.m. Central Time, 11:55 a.m. Eastern Time, when they lifted off from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan.
So everything is without any changes. Copy.
And once the trio floats through the hatch later today, they will be greeted by current Space Station Commander Anton Shkaplerov and the rest of the Expedition 66 crew. From left to right, they are NASA astronauts Rajachari and Thomas Marshburn, as well as European Space Agency astronaut Matthias Maurer, Roscosmos cosmonauts Anton Shkaplerov and Pyotr Dubrov, and NASA astronauts Kayla Barron and Mark Vande Hei. With each passing second, NASA astronaut Mark Vande Hei continues to break the record for longest single spaceflight by an American astronaut. And when he returns to Earth on March 30th, he will have spent a grand total of 355 days in space during this mission.
And sun pass, light flare, and the maneuver is still in progress. The maneuver rate is decreasing, and the maneuver is complete. GSO in attitude, combined GSO is confirmed, and acquisition is also confirmed. Copy. Signal acquisition confirmed. So we're standing by for cross transmission system activation. Yes, it should be activated at 21:21:00. All right. And the angular size of the station is approximately 1/2 of a square, or a bit more than that. Copy. And the range is 13 kilometers, 19 meters. This is the range rate. 1 in line C, as it was before, and the same parameter 0013. Copy. The station was in the middle of the periscope screen, but now it is lower by approximately 1 square. Copy.
The view you're seeing now that you were just seeing was from a camera on the Soyuz spacecraft. Shortly we'll have some data coming through the crosshairs there that will help the flight controllers in Koryov interpret the distance from the International Space Station and Soyuz. And as the Soyuz continues to get a bit closer to the International Space Station, it will conduct an automated fly-around to precisely position its forward docking probe in the direction of the Prichal docking port. That fly-around is scheduled to start at about 400 meters from the International Space Station. And following the fly-around, a brief period of station keeping will take place to enable flight controllers in Koryov to take a look and make sure they're happy with the alignment of the Soyuz for its final approach and docking. Once docking occurs, there will be a few moments to allow the relative motion between the two vehicles to dampen out against one another, and that will initiate the retraction of the docking probe to bring the two docking interfaces firm against one another and initiate the closing of the hooks on both sides of the docking interface.
0013, same parameters, copy.
That will be followed by a period of almost 2 hours of leak checks before the trio will be able to open up the hatch of the Soyuz vehicle.
Прошли 10 километров.
Range is 10 kilometers. Range rate 13.8.
The International Space Station is currently flying over the Pacific Ocean and is approaching the western coast of South Africa.
Now, copy. RGPS confirmed.
Доны начали получать картинку.
Don, we are getting the video now. Copy. And if you'd like, we could zoom in. Does it work like this? Yes, this is much better now. Thank you. And the station is slightly offset relative to the periscope image, and it is lower by 1 square and to the right, and it used to be precisely at the center just now. Yes, copy all, and we can also see it now.
Работаем по странице 52.
And here we go to execute steps on page 52, standing by for the third burn. Yes, that is correct. We're standing by.
On board the International Space Station, the crew is awake at this hour, and they're preparing for an upcoming spacewalk. On March 23rd, 2 astronauts are slated to step out the space station hatch for a spacewalk to replace the radiator beam valve module hose and complete other upgrades to the International Space Station.
That was completed a while ago. Copy. And in fact, we did not stow them. Well, there it is. There is this bag. Okay, let's see. All right. 7.5 kilometers. And the rate is decreasing.
And we are getting our first view of the Soyuz MS-21. It's that small black dot towards the middle of your screen, and we'll watch it grow larger as it closes in on the International Space Station at the tail end of its two-orbit journey. Docking is slated for 2:05 p.m. Central Time.
Донны, конденсат откачивали?
Denis, have you pumped the condensate out? Yes? Only once? 1939. Do we need to do it once again, Moscow? No, you don't. We actually reported it during the compass of the second orbit. Copy, thank you. I guess I missed it somehow. Everything is nominal so far. So the rate is 9 meters, 7 kilometers is the range.
And this view from a camera on the Soyuz spacecraft, the engineering overlay data showing the information that is also being interpreted by flight controllers in Koryov.
Copy.
The International Space Station is flying over the western coast of South America over the Andes Mountains.
Okay.
R5.
It is R5. Command.
And the number on the lower left of the screen does show the distance from Soyuz and the International Space Station. Right now about 6.1382817 kilometers separating Soyuz from the International Space Station. We'll see that number get smaller and smaller as it continues to approach towards docking, scheduled at 2:05 p.m. Central Time, 3:05 p.m. Eastern Time this afternoon. The next major milestone that we'll look towards this morning is the Soyuz fly-around. The Soyuz will conduct an automated fly-around to precisely position its forward docking probe in the direction of the Prichal docking port. And that fly-around will start at a range of about 400 meters from the International Space Station.
Okay. 8.6 is closing rate and 5 kilometers is the range.
We're about 15 minutes out from the Soyuz fly-around this afternoon.
Is matching and everything is nominal so far. So far, so good.
And as you just heard from that call, everything is proceeding as planned. All systems looking good so far ahead of docking at 2:05 p.m. Central Time.
Receiving the video. Good. About 1.5 squares on the screen occupied by the station. It's 5 kilometers, the range 8.5, the closing rate, and everything is nominal so far. Copy.
Now less than 4.2 kilometers separating Soyuz from the International Space Station.
Так, проходим 4 километра.
So the range is 4 kilometers and 8.5 meters per second is the closing rate. The station occupies more than a square and a half on the screen. Copy. Yeah, it's a great sight for the eyes. We can see the station very clearly. 21, 36, 11 is the time. Yes, that's correct.
As Soyuz continues to approach the International Space Station, you may see the engine firing briefly from the Soyuz. This is something called an impulse burn and helps the Soyuz hone into its target, which is, of course, the International Space Station and the Prichal docking compartment on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the station.
3.5 kilometers is the range, and the closing rate is 8.6. The station now occupies 2 squares. Copy.
And you can see the Soyuz MS-21 continuing to approach the International Space Station in this view.
Прошли 3 километра.
3 kilometers is the range now. Copy.
And you're starting to be able to distinguish the solar rays on the Soyuz sticking out on either side. Now less than 3 kilometers separating the International Space Station from Soyuz.
работа ТБО.
DPO acceleration, and the station moves to the right.
Принято, наблюдаем.
We can see that, so the maneuver is confirmed. Excellent.
And you're seeing the impulse burns as we speak, those small firings of the engines.
Copy.
Так, контроль. Есть, включи контроль, пожалуйста.
Could you please activate
These burns help Soyuz hone in on the Prichal docking compartment.
Так, есть работа СКД.
So SKD operation is confirmed.
Есть ускорение 0,45.
0.45 is acceleration. Copy.
We're less than 30 minutes away from docking today. Docking scheduled for 2:05 p.m. Central Time, 3:05 p.m. Eastern Time.
Ага. Так. Ага. Ух ты, ух ты. Так.
Так, наблюдаем. СКД 12 секунд работал.
So the SKD duration was 12 seconds. Yes, that's correct.
Так, сколько там?
And from this view, you can see the Nauka module, and on the very top of it is Prichal, which is Soyuz's target today.
5:33. Yeah, so now we can see the station again in the center of the OSK, crosshairs. 3.5 squares now are occupied by the station. Copy.
Попробуй пересветочкой.
Try AGC mode once again. So 1.5 kilometers is the range, and 4.15 meters per second is the closing rate, and the range corresponds to the rate, and the station now occupies 4 squares. Yeah, so you can see it very well. Yes, that's correct. Try the AGC once again.
And this view now from the Soyuz MS-21 vehicle as it approaches the International Space Station, less than 1.5 kilometers between Soyuz and the space station.
Yeah, the station is a beauty.
As Soyuz continues to near its target, the Prichal docking compartment, soon it will complete a fly-around procedure. This procedure precisely positions its forward docking probe in the direction of the Prichal docking port, and that fly-around will start at a range of about 400 meters from the International Space Station.
160, so you heard the sound of the oxygen supply. Okay, copy. Guys, we can see you. You're approaching really very fast. Okay, maybe you should engage your brakes right now. Sure.
Идет коррекция на ДПО.
Talking over each other.
Less than 1 kilometer separating the International Space Station and Soyuz MS-21 following a 2-orbit rendezvous after launch at 10:55 a.m. Central Time this morning from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan.
Rate is 2.6 meters per second. Everything is nominal. We can feel the operation of the thrusters. So depot is operating.
And here in the International Space Station Flight Control Room, the team has pulled go for docking.
The station is golden in this light. Very beautiful sight.
Окончание коррекции на ДПО.
So the burn is complete on depot. Approach thrusters, copy.
Now less than 4 minutes away from Soyuz fly around.
About 700 meters is the range to the station right now.
Soyuz and the International Space Station flying over the northeast coast of Brazil.
On our screen. It's a beautiful sight. And another burn using depot. Yes, depot operation is confirmed. Okay, 600 meters is the range, 1.6 is the closing rate, everything nominal so far. Copy.
2 minutes and 30 seconds until fly around begins. About half a kilometer separating Soyuz from the International Space Station, carrying 3 Russian cosmonauts following launch earlier this morning at 10:55 a.m. Central Time from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan.
So it's just half a kilometer, the range to the station, and 1.5 meters per second closing rate. But I still cannot see Anton for some reason. So we can see the station at the periscope very clearly. It's a golden color. Yes. Yes, maybe it's for Matveev's birthday that they, colored, painted it gold. Wonderful sight. Okay, so we are approaching 400 meters mark, and 1.4 meters per second is the closing rate. Well, something, happened to the camera.
And you just heard those words from the crew being interpreted by a translator on the ground, mentioning that today is Matthias Mauer's birthday.
Do you have the same issue? Yeah, it is not.
Matveev launched to the International Space Station in November aboard the SpaceX Crew 3 Dragon.
Есть облет.
Fly around has started.
Да.
We confirm.
And the fly around has now began at a range of less than 400 meters.
400 meters is the range, and 1.5 meters per second is the closing rate.
The fly around of the station will last a few minutes, resulting in station keeping for a brief period of time, which enables the Russian flight control team to assess the vehicle's systems before they reinitiate the spacecraft's approach for contact and capture, scheduled for 2:05 p.m. Central Time, 3:05 p.m. Eastern Time this afternoon.
Так. Так, ждаем Причала.
Работаем по 53-й странице.
Please go to page 53. I confirm page 53 is open.
Range is approaching 300 kilometers.
Так, у нас прошли мы 300 метров.
300 meters is the range, and 0.65 meters per second is the rate.
And the distance is now less than 300 meters separating Soyuz from the International Space Station.
We are looking at it. K-15 monitoring.
And just about halfway through the fly around that will precisely align the Soyuz with the Prichal docking port.
По угловым размерам по служебному модулю чуть меньше одной клетки.
As for the SM service module measurements, dimensions, it's less than 1 square. On our screen, copy.
Похоже, данные курсы, все похоже.
Yes, and the data of course seems to be nominal.
Following the fly around of the Soyuz, a brief period of station keeping will take place to help orient the solar arrays for docking to Prichal.
Хорошо, наблюдаем стыкующий узел.
We can see the docking interface very clearly now.
Есть работа
The
депо.
depot operation is confirmed.
Принято.
Copy, Don.
Плотная. Очень плотная работа депо идет. Уменьшение.
So now we feel the acceleration. It is the acceleration related to the range. And so 1 square of the big diameter on our screen. Copy.
Ну, по курсу 240.
It's 240 meters.
Опять работа.
Again, depot operation confirmed.
Работа депо не прекращается.
It is ongoing.
Облет.
It is continuous to fly around.
Так, приготовиться.
Get ready.
Ожидаем перехода курса в режим причал.
We are standing by for the course shifting to the Prichal or final approach mode.
СНЦ.
Yes,
СМЦ, да. Есть.
word C. Yes, we can see that.
Так, отлично.
Great.
Так.
Есть захват.
So acquisition is confirmed. Yes, acquisition is confirmed. We're standing by for the final approach mode, K-15. So the transition to the final approach mode is confirmed. Affirmative. We are on the approaching the axis of the docking node. Okay, now we have K-15 final approach. Did you copy? K-15 is confirmed. We copy. The roll maneuver is confirmed. Copy. 1 degree so far. So the rate is 1 degree. Excellent. Okay,
and the roll that you're seeing take place on your screen by the Soyuz MS-21 vehicle helps to orient the solar rays for the proper docking position.
Sounds good. The headlight is on.
Less than 200 meters separating Soyuz from the International Space Station.
The maneuver continues. The rate of the maneuver is decreasing.
Soyuz and the International Space Station flying over southern Morocco.
Flag is confirmed. Copy. Send the command final approach from the approach display. Copy in work.
And the final approach command has been sent.
So the final approach 21:52:35 is the time of the command.
Final approach has begun.
Copy. Okay, so the we have the diversion. Well, please stand by. Don't do anything because you have ZAVCON or station keeping mode. Send the command again. ZAVCON command. So we have a skew here, so I will try to show you the screen better.
About 160 meters now separating the Soyuz from its destination, the International Space Station.
In work? Is it okay? Yes, it is fine now. Sounds good. Denis, Moscow, please transition to manual approach and activate Rodeka. Oleg, can you hear me? Yes. So please go to manual mode. Yes, I can hear you, Vladimir Alexeyevich. Rodeka, digital loop. Yes, that's correct. Rodeka, Rus, copy in work. So I'm sending Rodeka 21:53:54. Yes, root translational controller should be on. Yes, it is in work.
And the Soyuz commander, Artemyev, has been directed to guide Soyuz into the Prichal docking module using manual mode.
Go ahead. So are you in manual mode now? Yes, we have activated Rodeka. D6 and root translational controller is on. D6 command is being sent. Page 61. So let's do very fast test of raw and root controllers. Yes, to the right. Yeah, depot activity is on. To the left, depot is operating now upwards and downwards, and clockwise and anti-clockwise. So the test is complete. The test is successful. Now, root test. To the right, depot operation is on. To the left, depot operation is on. Upwards, depot operation is on. Downwards, depot operation is on. I'm pulling it, and it is on and pushing it. So the test route was successful. No issues.
Так, вперед выдаю 3 секунды.
So 21, 22, 23, 3 seconds.
Так. Ну-ка. Так, все. Вперед. Да, давай еще перед.
Okay, work with the AGC. So, Donny,
Я принял.
right now we are in a
Да, верни, пожалуйста.
current mode. Yes, please take it back.
Принял.
Экипаж станции.
Don, Moscow, go ahead.
Following a transition to manual mode, everything looking good, less than 200 meters separating the International Space Station and Soyuz.
We are talking to me.
Просто, Олег, мы станцию перевели в текущее положение.
Oleg, so the station right now is in the current mode. So please do your work, okay?
Принято, Владимир Алексеевич.
Vladimir Alexeyevich, thank you for the instruction. I copy all.
Так, у нас как близко. Так, мы ждем, пока она перейдет, да?
We're standing by for the transition of the station to the current mode. Yes, that's correct. And after that, you will deactivate OSK. Copy.
Доложите текущую данные.
Нет, ничего нет. Сейчас мы ждем, пока перейдет.
We're standing by for the station to transition to the mode. Copy.
Экипаж, получили подтверждение перевода в ТП,
We have just received the confirmation that the station is in step and hold, and please continue to a 30-meter point. Copy. And should I send the SCA command, or should we move to?
Soyuz continuing to close into the International Space Station.
Стабилизацию СТАП ОСК отключаем.
And you can deactivate the WSK stabilization.
Экипаж, показаниям курса доверяем только по скорости, рост точкой.
Soyuz.
Artemyev will be using manual mode to guide in the Soyuz MS-21 for the first docking to Prichal.
Copy. And also please note that at 2202 you will be at sunset, so please
Some additional impulse burns taking place to orient Soyuz in the proper placement ahead of docking to Prichal.
Так, увеличили скорость.
The rate has been increased. Copy. And what is the current range according to your estimates? 1.5 squares in the large diameter.
Range is 140 meters.
Less than 150, approximately. Copy.
До 70 дойдем, будем...
Once we reach 70, we're going to lower the rate. Copy all and confirm all.
Soyuz will continue to slow down as it approaches the International Space Station.
Две клетки по большому диаметру.
Two squares along the large diameter, and the range is approximately 110, 115 meters orbital. Thank you. That's good.
Олег, мы сейчас постараемся станцию немножко подсветить.
We're getting closer to the station, and the sunset will start in approximately 1 minute. Copy.
Now less than 100 meters separating Soyuz from the International Space Station.
Две с половиной клетки по большому диаметру.
2.5 squares along the large diameter. We passed that already, and range is 80 to 90 meters approximately. Copy all.
Одна клетка по...
One square along the docking port, and the
Range is 80 meters in closing.
dampen the rate. Yes, you can go ahead and lower it to approximately 0.3. Copy. And the docking port, we can see the docking port very clearly. Could you please activate the VSK periscope light? It's in work. The light is not on anymore. I turned it off. So put it back on. Yes, just like that, so that I could see.
Less than 70 meters separating Soyuz from the Prichal.
Как оцениваете текущую дальность?
Okay, let's adjust the course direction.
Range is 60 meters.
3 squares along the docking port, and the range is approximately 45 meters. 45 to 50 meters. Moving slowly. There is no need to rush. Correct, and we'll perform station keeping.
Range now less than 50 meters.
Well, everything is going well so far. 2 squares along the docking port, and the rate is approximately 32, 33 meters, and I will keep lowering the rate. Yes, copy all, and we're standing by for your report about the station keeping. Copy.
Вошли в зону 30 метров.
We have entered the 30-meter range, 30-meter envelope.
Визуально наплыва нет. Примерно в зависании.
Now about 30 meters separating Soyuz from the International Space Station. A brief period of station keeping is taking place to ensure everything is lined up properly before contact and capture.
Calling, sending the 5 command. The command is sent and LED is illuminated. The docking probe is extended, hooks are open, latch is extended, and the ingress hatch is closed. Moscow, this is Donna. Did you copy? Yes, we copy all, and everything is nominal all as well. Well, I didn't hear your call before, and I have you loud and clear now. Soyuz crew, please move on. And everything is steady now. The headlight is operating nominally. We're getting the video, so you can go ahead and proceed. Copy.
Everything looking good for Soyuz to continue closing into Prichal.
I will send the command just now, 21, 22, 23. I will set up the impulse mode for the THC. It is armed.
Так, сколько у нас уже? Так, 2,5 клетки расстояние примерно 25 метров.
2.5 squares, and the range is approximately 25 meters based on the angular size. Copy all. We're getting the video, and also just a reminder about the impulse mode for the THC at the 25-meter mark. Yes, copy all. The rate is safe now, so it's going safely. And SSVP is ready, docking and interim.
Closing in on 20 meters separating Soyuz from the International Space Station. Standing by for contact and capture.
3 squares along the docking port, and the range is approximately 25 meters. So go ahead and send the impulse command for the THC controller. Copy. We have switched to the impulse mode for the THC, and also just to let you know that the video is dropping out. It's intermittent, so we are relying on your commentary. Copy. 1 square along the docking target. The range is approximately 18 meters. Copy. Excellent.
Идем до 3 метров, там зависаем. Идем до 3 метров, там зависаем.
Station keeping at 3 meters. Copy.
Now less than 15 meters separating Soyuz from the International Space Station.
Copy.
Полторы клетки помещения, расстояние примерно 10 метров.
1.5 squares along the docking target, and the approximate range is 10 meters. Copy. 10 meters.
Подгашиваю скорость.
Range is 10 meters and closing.
Range rate is 0.11. Please decrease the rate slightly.
Мы тут на эту скорость не смотрим.
We are not using this rate value. We'll have to do it ourselves.
Так, 2,5 клетки помещения, расстояние примерно
2.5 squares along the docking target, and the approximate range is 4 meters.
Принял 4.
Copy.
Так, Входим в зону 3 метров. Входим в зону 3 метров.
Entering the 3-meter envelope.
Так, у нас 3 клетки, да, получилось?
So what we have is 3 squares, 2.5 squares. I think it's 2.5 copy. We have entered the 3-meter envelope, performing station keeping copy. Standing by for your report on the station keeping.
Принял.
Copy.
Another brief period of station keeping ongoing.
Так, кресты предварительно собраны. Так, кресты предварительно собраны.
The crosshairs are preliminarily aligned.
Зависание.
And station keeping confirmed. No motion.
На камере замещение размера.
Okay, stand by. Yes, the docking target is not clear.
Экипаж после выполнения зависания.
After you perform station keeping, you're going to proceed with the final approach and docking.
Так, мишень у нас.
And docking.
Мишень у нас собрана.
Station keeping confirmed, and the docking target is aligned on the periscope, and I don't really see it that well on the camera view. And we are ready to send the burn to contact 21, 22, 23. It is sent, standing by for contact.
Everything looking good, standing by for contact and capture.
Preliminary aligned. Copy all, and we're standing by.
Так, смотрим. Так, так, смотрим. Денис, смотри.
We'll keep monitoring. Denis, make sure that you're monitoring.
Есть цеп. Так, есть цеп. Есть цеп.
Mechanical connection.
Contact confirmed. Capture confirmed.
Excellent. Copy all. Capture and mechanical.
Contact and capture confirmed at 2:12 p.m. Central Time, 3:12 p.m. Eastern Time as the International Space Station and the Soyuz flew over eastern Kazakhstan.
Right. So what?
We'll stand by for relative motion between the vehicle and the station to slow down before the docking probe is retracted on the Soyuz to enable hooks to close to form a hard mate between the Soyuz and the space station.
Go ahead and turn off the headlight. Did you say?
Again, docking was confirmed at 2:12 p.m. Central Time, 3:12 p.m. Eastern Time.
Steps on page 63. And congratulations on the successful docking. And please repeat your last. I was saying that you're going to execute steps on page 63, and thank you for your words. I'm deactivating THC. THC off. Impulse mode is off. Is disabled.
Так, народы отключаем. Народы дебил.
Deactivating menu attitude digital loop. It is disabled now.
Параметры КДУ давай запишем.
KDU parameters, combined propellant unit parameters, spherical tank section 1146. And what is the time of capture? Did you check that?
Again, we had a successful docking to the Prichal module for the first time ever at 2:12 p.m. Central Time, 3:12 p.m. Eastern Time, following a 2-orbit rendezvous after launching from the International Space Station. After launching to the International Space Station from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan at 10:55 a.m. Central Time earlier today.
Go ahead and activate the repress, so it's 146. Donny, this is Moscow. So should we switch to page 57 now? Yes, go ahead, Moscow. Please switch to page 57. Copy page 57. Please select the SSVP docking and internal transfer system display on input 2 control panel. What control panel? Input 2. Okay. I'm turning off the headlight.
And probe retraction is in works.
And switching to SSVP. And should I turn off the TV transmission? No, not just yet. Please hold on with that. This is the ISS crew. Congratulations on the successful docking. Thank you, Peter. And I can read you now. Copy.
And the retraction of the docking probe has been confirmed. Hooks are in the process of closing between Prichal and the International Space Station.
We'll wait for that.
Hooks are driving.
All will be well. Moscow, this is Don 2. Are you ready to copy the first measurement?
Дон, как меня слышно? Дон, это по Москвы.
Standing by for a confirmation of hooks being closed.
Дон, ответьте, это по Москвы.
It's not responding.
Дон, это по Москвы.
Don, this is Moscow. Don 2. Moscow, how do you read me? Are you ready to copy the first measurement?
And we have confirmation that the Soyuz hooks are closed, and we have a hard mate between the Soyuz MS-21 and the International Space Station. With a successful docking today, that completes the Soyuz MS-21 launch to docking that began with liftoff from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan at 10:55 a.m. Central Time, 11:55 a.m. Eastern Time, carrying 3 Russian cosmonauts to the International Space Station. Recapping some milestones, the Soyuz MS-21 lifted off, which performed a series of nominal burns following liftoff to propel the Soyuz into its preliminary orbit for a 2-orbit, 3-hour journey to the International Space Station. Soyuz docked the Prichal module on the Russian segment of the International Space Station at 2:12 p.m. Central Time, 3:12 p.m. Eastern Time, while flying over eastern Kazakhstan. The docking probe on the Soyuz retracted and hooks closed on both sides of the docking interface to form a hard mate between the Soyuz MS-21 and the International Space Station. Now, the trio will begin a series of leak checks, which should result in the opening of the hatches between the Soyuz and the International Space Station around 4:30 p.m. Central Time, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time this afternoon. We will be back on the air for hatch opening coverage beginning at 4:15 p.m. Central Time, 5:15 p.m. Eastern Time, and will follow along as leak and pressure checks are conducted and the repressurization of the vestibule, which is the small passageway between the Soyuz and the space station, takes place. That will, of course, lead to the opening of the hatches, and the crew will be welcomed aboard the International Space Station by the Expedition 66 crew members. We hope you'll join us back here at 4:15 p.m. Central Time for our hatch opening coverage for the Soyuz MS-21. And with Soyuz now successfully docked to the Prichal module of the International Space Station, that'll wrap up our rendezvous and docking coverage for today. We'll see you soon for hatch opening. This is Mission Control Houston.